If you're here to learn how to use Ultra Gogeta Blue better, you clicked on the right video because today I've prepared a visual guide for you guys that is gonna help you understand his kit better and easier, so let's get right into it. Let me just say that this is the first time I'm doing this kind of video, so if this goes well and people actually want more, I can revisit characters and I can keep doing this for every new character that comes out, obviously if I pull them, because that's how I can record everything. But yeah, if this does good and actually helps out people, please let me know in the comments below. Like this video, react to it somehow, share it, I don't know. Like, I want to see if this actually helps people and if it's good and if I should keep doing it. If not, maybe I'm just gonna drop the idea. But Ultra Gogeta Blue is my favorite unit, is my favorite character in Dragon Ball, and I decided this is the perfect unit for me to try out this idea and see if it actually helps out some people. So Ultra Gogeta Blue is currently the #1 unit in the game, so I think it's crucial that you actually understand his kit all the way through and know how to use this guy best. And at the same time, I think this guy is also gonna be relevant for quite a while. Like, I can see him still being a top 5 unit like 6 months down the line, because he's that good. First thing you need to know about this guy is that he's a melee type. You can see it right up here. He holds 2 strikes, which is amazing for any melee type unit because that's their main offense, so they want to do strikes as much as possible, so having more in your deck is always ideal. You can also see his stats at 14 stars right here. Obviously I have my title boosts and everything, so it's gonna vary from player to player, but this is roughly what he gets at 14 stars. Obviously those are gonna change depending on the number of stars you have him at, because for me he's actually at 12, so you can see they're lower, but at max stats, this is what they look like. This guy is episode Sagras from the movies, and tags he has Saiyan, Fusion Warrior, Fusion, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and Godki. So this guy can go on a variety of teams, but right now in the meta currently his best team is Sagas from the movies with Beast Gohan and Pen. If we look at his arts, both his strike and his blast do -3 to own special move arts card. That means he's gonna take 3 from your cost for the special move for 15 timer counts once you hit with a blast or a strike. And that's pretty good because if you start a combo and you have a blue card in hand, you can then do a blue card with a really low cost, so that's amazing. His strike also has blast armor when charging forward, that's also amazing. His blue card deals massive impact damage, applies the following effects to self upon activation. So when you click the blue card, he gets 20 ki and he gets 30% to special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts, and this one also has blast armor on it. His green card is really good, it's an amazing green card. He draws a special move arts cards for 2 times, so that means the first time you pop it and the second time you use it, you're gonna get a blue card. Then it restores ki by 50, so you have enough ki to use the blue card. You get 20% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts, so if you pop this at the beginning of a combo, then you can like just have 20% damage inflicted for the whole combo, which is amazing. He applies buff effect, nullifies special cover changes for 10 timer counts. Again, pop this at the beginning of the combo and you can just like do your thing. Then, according on the timer counts elapsed, so if 30 timer counts have elapsed, he also goes type neutral. That means at 150 from Battlestar, so when you see 150 on the clock, if it goes under 150, if you pop this green card, it's gonna go type neutral. And then when 60 timer counts elapse, the same thing happens, he goes type neutral for 5 timer counts, but he also gets 70% to vanish engage. That means 120 on the clock. If you see it hit 120 or under, you can just pop a green card, you're gonna get your vanish back, you're gonna go type neutral, and everything that I said in the beginning up here. So this is an amazing green card, especially if the timer counts have elapsed. This guy is just gonna be a monster. Now let's talk about his ultimate, God Punisher. Deals supreme impact damage, and the following effects occur upon activation. So he gets 40% ultimate damage for 3 timer counts, so when you activate it, this ult is gonna hit with an extra 40% damage. He nullifies enemy restores health when it reaches 0, that means endurance, he nullifies that. Cancels enemies attribute upgrades and buff effects, so if they have like some big cut or anything like that, he just cancels that and then does way more damage. And obviously it has blast armor when charging forward. Now let's actually move into the ability section. This is the longest section of his kit. This is like probably the hardest to fully understand and like remember during a fight, because the fights are super intense sometimes and you cannot just remember everything on the spot. You have to learn it by using the unit again and again and again and experiencing it. So that's why this visual guide is made, so you can actually see it with your own eyes what's happening, and hopefully this can help you actually master this unit a bit more. We're gonna start off with the Ultra ability. This is not something super complicated, even though it has like so many lines right here. Basically, if this character is in the leader slot on any team, he's gonna get 30% damage inflicted and 30% key recovery. That's forever, cannot be cancelled. If this guy is not in the leader slot, he needs to be on a full Fusion Warrior setup to get that 30%. And if he's not, he's gonna get 5% to damage inflicted and 5% to key recovery for each Fusion Warrior battle member. So if you have 5 fusions instead of 6, you're gonna get 25%. If you have 4 fusions instead of 6, you're gonna get 20%, and so on, until like if you use him on a full random setup that is not Fusion Warriors and he's not in the leader slot, he's not gonna get this at all. So just try to keep in mind that if you're not using him on a Fusion Warrior setup, you have to put this guy in the leader slot so he gets all the damage and everything he can get to the max. Now let's take a look at his Z ability. Again, this is at 14 stars. This varies depending on the number of stars you have. So at 14 stars he gets 5% to special move damage inflicted by tag Fusion Warrior and 42% to tag Fusion Warrior or Saiyan base strike attack and defense. So this is a great Z ability. Again, if he's in the leader slot, he's gonna give this to everybody. So obviously if using him on movies or God Key or anything like that, because he doesn't buff those tags, he just buffs Saiyan and Fusion Warrior, throw this guy in the leader slot, he's gonna give everything and he's gonna get everything from the team. So this is how you actually have to use him on a team. Unless it's Fusion Warriors, this guy needs to be in the leader slot for him to be effective. Now let's talk about his main ability. So when you press his face down there in the corner during a match, he's gonna activate this, he's gonna get his ultimate, he's gonna restore on health by 30% and ki by 40%. He's gonna apply the buff effect minus 20% to enemy sustained damage cut for 15 timer counts. That means he's gonna go through cut 20%. So if your enemy has 50% cut, he's gonna go through 20% of that. That means he's gonna do more damage. And he cancels on attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. That means if he's paralyzed or he has some kind of debuff, he's gonna cancel that. Then he reduces enemy ki by 50, so he basically takes half of their ki away if it's full. Then destroys all of your enemies' cards. This is perfect to use when someone popped their main in front of you and you know they got their ultimate, they got ki, all of that, you pop yours and you cancel all that, you destroy their ult, you take away their ki. This is an amazing main ability to use at the right spot, but also be aware that if you pop this in front of another Gogeta blue and he pops it after you, that means he's gonna destroy your ult. So be careful with that, because it's super risky to use this too early. I think it's better to use it at the right spot when your enemy actually popped their main and they get everything ready to go. You pop yours and you just disrupt them. So that's the best way to use it in my opinion. Also, it requires 25 timer counts to use. I think that's like 155 on the clock. I'm not entirely sure right now, but I'm gonna show it on the screen. Now let's talk about his unique abilities. He has 2. As you can see, they're extremely long. It's super hard to remember all of this, especially if you only seen his kit once or twice. You just like glazed through it or read it once and then you're like, okay, I can kind of know how to use this guy, but it's best to actually see everything in action happening. So that's actually the purpose of this video and of those visual guides if they're gonna happen in the future. Okay, so let's have a look at the first unique ability. Applies the following effects to self when battle starts. So all of these things happen when battle starts. You don't have to worry about them. If you want to be aware of them, good. If not, it's also good. They're gonna happen anyway without you doing or not doing something specifically. So he's gonna get 120% to damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled. Reduces damage received by 60%, cannot be cancelled. Increases arts card draw speed by level 1, cannot be cancelled. -5 to arts costs, cannot be cancelled. That's all arts, he's gonna have -5. And he gets the upgrade -20% to enemy sustained damage cut effects, cannot be cancelled. That's another 20% he goes through cut, but this is forever. So when he pops main, he actually goes through 40% cut in total. That's really good to know. And his unique gauge is gonna start at 40%. That's really good. That means it's gonna be way easier to fill up when you're getting attacked. Also, applies the following effects to self when this character activates Rising Rush. So when he rushes, He restores on vanishing gauge by 100%. This is extremely broken. I cannot believe they actually gave him this because it's extremely broken. There's like so many times when you rush and you don't have your vanishing gauge, for example when you're a last man stand, and then you're like, I think I want this guy to guess my rush just so I can get my vanish back so I can make this comeback. But with this guy you don't have to worry about that because he gets it even if the enemy doesn't guess you, so it's amazing. And not only that, he also restores health when it reaches 0. He nullifies that basically, so that means endurance units can easily get killed by this guy's rush. So yeah, I mean that's also a pretty broken ability. Some units have it forever, like Rose, like Full Power Frieza, like I don't know, there's someone else I can't remember right now, DKP I think. But this guy just getting it on the rush is more than enough, because most of the times when you rush someone you're going for the kill, and if they throw in the endurance unit there's nothing you can do about it. But this guy doesn't care, he's just gonna go through his endurance and kill the unit, so that's amazing. And the last part of his first unique, restores on ki by 50 upon landing a strike or a blast arts hit once. Activation count resets when characters switch, so that means when he comes into the field he does one strike or one blast, and when it hits he's gonna get 50 ki back. Then you switch him out, and when you switch him back in it's gonna happen again and again. It happens once every time you switch him back in, so this is really good against units like Zamasu or who else, Pan, that reduce your ki. So basically disruption units that reduce your ki when you hit them. This guy kinda counters that by getting 50 ki, so you can still keep squeezing in 1 or 2 cards into that combo, which is amazing because it's super annoying when you just start the combo and all of your ki goes down and then you have to stop instantly. Okay, now let's talk about his second unique ability. When this character performs a cover change, knocks enemy back to long range if it's against their strike or blast arts attack activates twice. That means he has a special cover change that can activate against strike or blast, same as Beast Gohan, same as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, same as both UI Gokus. And this guy can also combo it into a special move arts, like a blue card, same as Beast Gohan. So really strong ability. It activates 2 times, so that means it's not unlimited because that would be too broken. But still, those 2 times can actually put you from disadvantage to advantage, because you stop their combo and you can also attack them back if you have a blue card in your hand. And yeah, it's super broken that both him and Beast Gohan have this and they're on the same team. Like, bro, that's insane. But yeah, keep in mind it only happens 2 times, so don't try to use it a 3rd time because it's not gonna work. But for the 2 times, try ideally to use those cover changes when you also have a blue card in your hand, because that's like the best way you can take advantage of this ability. Now moving down on the list, so he charges own unique gauge every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character is on the battlefield. So when he takes a blast, whatever attack he takes except tap shots, tackles, stuff like that don't activate, but actually attacks that do more damage do charge his unique gauge. One thing I noticed is that MUI's counter does not charge it, even though it does quite a lot of damage. It does not charge up his unique gauge, so also keep that in mind if you fight MUIs and you think, oh, if this guy activates the counter, I'm gonna activate my gauge. It's not gonna work like that. It has to be like a card that attacks you basically. Well, this character is in one of the following states: if own unique gauge is full, consumes entire unique gauge to counter enemies' blast arts and most range special move and special arts, activate 3 times. So while he's slide moving or standing still, sidestepping to the left or right, receiving an attack, he's basically gonna activate the counter if your unique gauge is full, and it activates against blast cards, long range blue cards or long range green cards. And when it activates, all of these things happen right down here. Applies the following effects to self and counter activates, randomly destroys one of your own cards and draws a special move arts cards next, activate once, restores ki by 50. So that means when your gauge consumes and activates, you're gonna get a blue card guaranteed in your hand even if you have a full hand, and 50 ki. And the thing is, this gauge, this counter, is also comboable with special move arts, with special move arts and ultimate arts. So the fact that you get a blue card in your hand when it activates the first time, that means you can use that blue card straight away and do damage back, which is really busted. And also keep in mind that it's comboable with Ultimate Arts cards. Maybe some people missed out on this. Shout out to DNGEE, he helped me out film this video, so it's way easier. And he actually had no idea that you can combo his counter with his ult, because there are situations when you're gonna have your ult in your hand, but you didn't like catch your enemy and he started the combo on you and he forgot about your gauge. He activates that and you can actually do your ult straight away, which is something super useful. So yeah, I'm assuming maybe other people don't know. Same as DNGEE, who's a God rank player who's playing this game a lot and he loves UGB, he knows his kit, but he actually missed out on this. So I think it's pretty important to mention that. And besides this, the following effects occur once unique gauge is full. So this happens before the gauge actually activates, when it just fills up completely. You get your own health up by 20% and then an extra 10% which activates once. So the first time his unique gauge goes up, he gets 30% health. Nullifies own unfavorable element factor for 5 timer counts. That means he goes type neutral. So if a yellow is activating that gauge, as I said, you get your blue card, you go type neutral, and you just hit that yellow unit really hard. Then applies buff effect. He nullifies cover for 10 timer counts and shortens ally substitution count by 3, reduces enemy Dragon Ball by 1, destroy all of your enemies' strike cards. So basically, when his gauge gets activated, he destroys their strikes, so that means the only thing they can hit you with is either a blue card, a green card, or a blast arts, or an ultimate if they have it in hand. And the chances are that that blue card might be a long range, that green card might be a long range, and then your counter is gonna activate if they hit you, or they're just gonna stop their combo because they have nothing else to do because they don't have strikes anymore. So this is pretty busted. And then, as I said, you go time neutral, you get cover change, you get health back, plus all the things up here. You can do the blue card or ultimate. So this guy, basically his gauge is extremely broken. That's what this whole thing means. And it also activates for 3 times, then it disappears. So yeah, pretty complex. I hope it makes sense from me reading it and showing it on the screen what's happening. But this is basically his gauge, and the more you learn about this gauge and know how to use it properly, and also know how to not activate it if the enemy has it, like play around it, is the best possible thing to use or to counter Ultra Gogeta Blue. And now for the final parts of his unique. The following effects occur every time the enemy uses a special move, awakened, or ultimate R cards while this character is on the battlefield. So when the enemy hits you with a blue card, an ultimate, or an awakened card, you go type neutral defensively for 5 timer counts, activates 3 times, so this is not forever. But the first 3, let's put it like this, the first 3 blue cards or ultimate or awaken, the first 3 cards that you receive, whether it would be ultimate, special move, or awakened, the first 3 you receive, you're gonna take type neutral damage even if the enemy is yellow. You're not gonna take as much damage as you're supposed to. And then he inflicts enemies with attribute downgrade minus 100% to key recovery for 5 timer counts. So that means that their key is gonna charge really slow, or maybe not at all. Yeah, their key is not gonna charge at all for 5 timer counts unless they charge it. So if someone hits you with a blue card, you're not gonna take as much damage, and then you're gonna mess up with their key and they cannot just start a combo on you or something like that. And yeah, I mean, that's something like they didn't have to add this at all, but they just did because they were like, okay, let's make this unit extremely broken for now. So that's there. And that's basically everything this guy has in his kit. It's a lot to process. You have to read through it a couple of times to actually make sure you understand everything and you didn't miss anything. And I hope this visual guide actually helps out. I don't know how it's gonna turn out yet because it's the first time I'm doing it, as I said. I'm hoping that it's gonna look good and it's gonna make sense and it's gonna help some people out. If it turns out like a total mess, I'm probably not gonna do it again, or I'm gonna try to think of a way to make it better. But if this helps, please let me know, because I'd really appreciate some feedback on this. I think this could actually be something super helpful for a lot of players, even if they're new, old, or somewhere in between. I think this could help anyone, even in case they missed something, or you just want to see the unit actually do those stuff. Because for me personally, it's way easier to learn visually seeing what's happening than just reading it and trying to imagine. I think it's way easier to just see what's happening, and that's, for me, that's the best way of learning something like this in a video game. So if it's the same case for you, let me know, like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 3K subscribers. I'm almost at 2.5 right now. I don't know if I'm gonna be at 2.5 when this video goes up, but if you're subscribed already, or if you plan on subscribing, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, other than that, make sure you check DNGEE's channel. He's also just recently hit 1K. Congrats for that, bro. He helped me record the whole thing, so that's amazing. Thank you again for that, bro. Check him out. And yeah, other than that, have an awesome day. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I see you thought it was over, but then the fusion tango boosted power, roasting opponents. The coldest foes that I'm owning, the key is flowing in ocean. You had the nuts to step through one of us, but now you're facing both with these.